Shalom. All praise to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah. Double honors to the elders and the apostles that have been rightfully dividing the word of truth and magnifying the ministry of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah. Right? And this one right here, we're going to be dealing with we're going to name it. Paul was writing to Israelite Gentiles in the time of his ministry. That's what we're going to be dealing with. The Gentiles that Paul was writing to. We're going to prove that they were indeed Israelites. All right, we're going to get right into it. First, let's go to Psalms. Let's go to Psalms chapter 147 and verse 19. It says, He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh. Right, so off the rip, the Most High power of Israel only showed his word, his statutes, and his judgments unto the nation of Israel. Right, he haven't dealt so with any other nation. Right, just starting off. So just let that sink in. But now we're going to jump to Paul's letters and see who he's writing to. Starting with Romans. Right. In the first chapter of the letter of Rome to Rome, when you read verse 7, it says, To all that be in Rome, beloved of Yahweh, called to be saints, grace to you and peace from Yahweh our Father and the Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. So in the first chapter, he's calling the people in Rome saints. The Bible specifically tells you who the saints are. And we read about that. Psalm chapter 148, verse 14. It says, He exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye Yahweh. Right? So the saints are the children of Israel. Anytime Paul says he's writing to his saints or his brethren, he's talking about the children of Israel. Let's get another precept. Right, anytime he's talking, he writes to the saints or his brethren, he's talking about Israel. Gotta understand that. Psalms 50. Salakia. Psalms 50 verse 5. It says, Gather my saints together unto me, those that I have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. Right? And we know that the Most High power, Yahweh, made a covenant with the children of Israel by sacrifice. Right? The blood covenant. Right? And we can read about that in Exodus chapter 24, verse 7. It says, And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people, and they said, All that Yahweh hath said we will do, and be obedient. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it upon the people, and said, Behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahweh hath made with you concerning all these words. Right? So the blood covenant was made with the children of Israel. Right? So the saints of the Most High power, Yahweh, are Israel. So when we get to Romans chapter 1 verse 6 or 7, it says, To all that be in Rome, beloved of Yahweh, called to be saints. He's already letting you know that this letter is being written to the children of Israel, or being sent to the children of Israel, right? Now when we go to Romans chapter 9 verse 24, I believe, right? Romans 9 verse 24 says, even us whom he hath called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles, right? As he said in Hosea, I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which was not my beloved. So these same Gentiles that Paul is referring to, they was talked about in the book of Hosea, right? It says Hosea, but it's referring he's referring to the book of Hosea, right? So we need to see what he's talking about. I'm gonna read verse 26 though. It says, and it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living God. Right. So this same thing that Paul is quoting is written in the book of Hosea, right? And it says this was to the Gentiles. So let's see what these who these Gentiles were that Paul was referring to in the book of Hosea. We'll go Hosea 1 and 5. Well, we'll start at verse 4. It says, and Yahweh said unto him, call his name Jezreel, for yet a little while, and I will avenge the blood of Jezreel upon the house of Jehu, and I will cause to seize the kingdom of the house of Israel. It's talking about the northern kingdom. It says, and it shall come to pass at that day that I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel, and she conceived again and bare a son, Salaki, and bare a daughter. And Yahweh said unto him, call her name Leruhamah, for I will have no mercy upon the house of Israel, but I will utterly take them away. But I will have mercy upon the house of Judah, and I will save them by Yahweh their power, and will not save them by bow, nor by sword, nor by battle of horses, nor by horsemen. Now when she had weaned Leruhamah, she conceived, and bare a son. Then Yahweh called, then said Yahweh, call his name Lomi, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your God. Right? So it's talking about the house of Israel, right, being seized from being a kingdom, right? It's talking about Israel. Now verse 10, after he said, ye are not my people, and I will not be your God, he was talking about Israel. And then in verse 10 it says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall it be said unto them, you are the sons of the living God. Same thing that Paul was quoting in Romans 9, right? Let's get it over here, right? Because this is the exact same thing that Paul was quoting in Romans 9. So when he says, even us whom he hath called, not of the Jews only, but also the Gentiles, as he said in Hosea, I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which was not my beloved. It's talking about Hosea chapter 1, when the Most High Power Yahweh seized the northern kingdom of Israel from being a people, and he stopped being their God until a certain point in time. So that's who Romans 9 is talking about. Them are the Gentiles in Romans 9, it's the Israelites, right? And he even tells you that, right? It says, in verse 26, it says, it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living God. Right? Paul in the same chapter tells you who the children of the Most High Power Yahweh is. It says, we're going to go to verse 7. It says, neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. That is, they which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of Yahweh, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. Right? And we know the children of the promise are the children of Israel, because if you go up you go up to verse 4, it says, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of Yahweh and the promises. So Israelites are the children of the Most High Power Yahweh, right? Israelites are the children of the promises, right? Let's go more into it. Is it more in Romans that we could deal with? It's more in Romans that we could deal with, but I want to go to another letter. Matter of fact, let's go to Romans chapter 11 real quick. Just real quick. Right, this is talking about the grafting in of the Gentiles, right, who are Israelites, right? It says, "For I speak to you Gentiles, and as much as I am the apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify my office." So this whole grafting in right here of the broken branches is talking about the Israelites that are Gentiles, right? Because if you jump to verse 23, it says, "And they also, if they abide not and still in unbelief, shall be grafted in, for Yahweh is able to graft them in again," right? So these Gentiles are being grafted in, meaning they were once a part of the olive tree. And if you go to Jeremiah chapter 11, start at verse 15. Let me see. We're going to start at verse 13. It says, "For according to the number of thy cities were thy gods, O Judah, and according to the number of the streets of Jerusalem have ye set up altars to that shameful thing, even the altars to burn incense unto Baal. Therefore pray not thou for this people, neither lift up a cry or prayer for them, for I will not hear them in the time that they cry unto me for their trouble. What hath my beloved to do in my house, seeing she have wrought lewdness with many? And the holy flesh is passed from thee. When thou doest evil, then thou rejoicest. Yahweh call thy name a green olive tree, fair and of goodly fruit. With the noise of a great tumult, he hath kindled a fire upon it, and the branches of it are broken." Right, so that green olive tree is Judah, Jerusalem, right? The Israelites that Paul was talking about that was being grafted in. The branches that were broken off were the Israelites. It's telling you right here. The Most High Power called their name a green olive tree, and the branches of it are broken, right? So that's why I said in verse 23 in Romans 11 that God is able to graft them in again, these Gentiles, because they're Israelites. They were once part of the olive tree. But let's deal with Corinthians. Right? First Corinthians. Let's see something. Because usually in the first chapter, Paul is always writing to his brethren or the saints. Right? In verse 2, it says, "Unto the church of Yahweh which is in Corinth, to them that are sanctified in Hamashiach Yahushua," right? Called to be saints. Salakia. But called to be saints, right? We already established who the saints is. But let's do it again. Psalms 148, verse 14. Real quick. It says, "He exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye Yahweh." So again, Paul is writing to the Israelites, which are the saints. That's in Corinth, right? We're gonna go to chapter 10 and verse 1. It says, "Brethren, I would not ye should be ignorant." So like I'm gonna restart. It says, "Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant how all our fathers were under the cloud and passed through the sea." So Paul is talking to his brethren, right? Who is Paul's brethren? We're gonna deal with this whole verse real quick. Who is Paul's brethren? If you go to Romans chapter 9, verse 3, it says, "For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for Hamashiach, for my brethren," right? "My kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites." So Paul is writing to his brethren. He's talking to his brethren, which are the Israelites, and he's letting them know that all their fathers were under the cloud and passed through the sea with Moses, right? Let's get some precepts on that. Let's go to Exodus chapter 14, verse 12. It says, "Is not this the word that we tell thee in Egypt, saying, Let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. And Moses said unto the people, Fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of Yahweh, which he shall show you to you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, you should not see them again no more forever." Right? So this is talking about the Exodus of the children of Israel coming out of Egypt. Right? Verse 14 it says, "Yahweh shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. And Yahweh said unto Moses, Wherefore criest thou unto me, speaking to the children of Israel, that they go forward? But lift up thy rod, and stretch out thy hand over the sea, and divide it, and the children of Israel shall go on the dry ground through the midst of the sea." So the people in Corinth, their forefathers passed through the sea with Moses, right? So he's talking to the Israelites. Let's get another precept. Let's go to Numbers chapter 9, verse 17. It says, "And when the cloud was taken up from the tabernacle, then after that the children of Israel journeyed. And in the place where the cloud abode, there the children of Israel pitched their tents." Right? So the children of Israel were under that cloud and passed through the sea. This is Paul. This is who Paul is talking about. These are the Gentiles in Corinth, right? Israelites that been, Hellenized and ignorant to the fact that they needed to be keeping the commandments, right? Now let's go to Maccabees, right? This is talking about because Corinth is in, I believe it's somewhere in Greece. Let me see something. Yeah, Corinth is in Greece. So these Gentiles that was in the church of Corinth were Hellenized, right? Greek speaking Jews that grew up in the customs of the Greeks because of their fathers. Where's Maccabees? Hmm. See something. Okay. Salakia, bear with me. But yeah, I wanted to get a quick precept in the book of Maccabees. Let's go to Second Maccabees. No, First Maccabees 1:11. It says, "In those days went there out Israel, wicked man, who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein, that they went to the king, who gave them a license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. And they made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief." Right? So you had Israelites in the time of the Greek and Rome, the Greek and Empire, that took on the customs and made agreements to follow the ways of the Greeks that they was dwelling among, right? And if you dwelling among the Greeks, making covenant with the Greeks, after a period of time, your children are going to grow up in those customs also. So that's why when you get to Paul's time, when he was under subjection under the Romans, you had the Hellenized Greeks. I mean the Hellenized Jews, Salakia, that grew up in the custom of the Greeks because of their fathers, right? So these are these. This is who Paul is writing to in Corinthians, right? Let's get some more on this. Let's go to Second Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 1. Oh, Salakia, First Corinthians. It says, now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, right? If you read Romans 9:3 and verse 4, Paul, brethren, are the Israelites. It says, I will not have you ignorant. Ye know that you were Gentiles carried away into these dumb idols, even as ye were led, right? So he's letting them know that y'all shouldn't be ignorant to the fact that y'all was carried away to serve these dumb idols, right? And y'all was led to to serve these dumb idols, right? Your forefathers made covenants with the heathen. Therefore, y'all don't know who y'all are. He's letting them know, don't be ignorant to this, right? If we go to Second Maccabees, 6:1, it says, not long after this, the king sent hold on, Salakia. All right. It says, not long after this, king sent a old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of Yahweh, and to pollute also the temple of in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius, right? Some idol. It says, and that in Garism of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people, right? So right, they was you had Greeks, right, compelling Jews to stop living after the laws of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and start living after their customs, right? They was profaning the holy temple, setting up idols, and right, the Jews and Israelites, they grew up in it, right? So Paul is letting them know, y'all shouldn't be ignorant to the fact that y'all was carried away into dumb idols, right? Paul is there to let them know that, hey, our fathers passed through the Red Sea. It was under that cloud. We the Israelites, right? Let's go to Romans 11:1. It says, I say then, have Yahweh cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am a Israelite of the seed of Abraham of the tribe of Benjamin, right? So Paul was a Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin, but he was also a Roman, right? He was an Israelite by nationality, and he was a Roman by citizenship. The same way you could be a Jew from the tribe of Judah by nationality, but a Greek, right, by citizenship or by keeping their customs, right? Now let's deal with one more. Let's go to Galatians, right? A famous misused verse, Galatians 3 and verse 28. It says, there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free, there is neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Hamashiach Yahushua. Right? This is a famous misused verse from, you know, people who think salvation is for everyone. But we're gonna break it down real quick. Okay, this word Greek right here. When you go back into the Greek word for this word Greek, right? If you go into the interlinear, this word for Greek is Hellen, right? A Hellenist. This is what the word Greek goes back to, right? A Hellenist. And when you look at the word Hellenist, It means Hellenist, refers to a person living in the Hellenistic times who was a Greek in language, outlook, and way of life, but not necessarily Greek in ancestry. It can also mean devotion to or imitation of a ancient Greek thought, customs, or styles, right? And we just read in First Maccabees 1 and verse 11 that in those days went out there out of Israel wicked man who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we had much sorrow, right? So this Greek word in Galatians goes back to a Hellenist, right? A Greek speaking Jew, or a Jew that's keeping the customs of a Greek, right? Because in the time of the Maccabean period, they was under Greek rulership, right? And it was taking on the customs and things of that nature. But the very next verse lets you know that these are talking about Israelites, because it says, and if ye be in Hamashiachs, then are ye Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise, right? Let's see what this word heirs mean. Right here, it says a person legally entitled to the property or rank of another of that person's. So, like, let me read it again. It says a person legally entitled to the property or rank of another on that person's death, right? And a promise that was made through Abraham was the promise of Yahweh Shah HaMashiach also, right? And we're entitled, the children of Israel are entitled to his death, right? His death plays a significant part, right, on us being reconciled to the Father. Let's go to Acts chapter 5, verse 29. Now, what is that? I'm going to read verse 30. Verse 29 says, then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey Yahweh rather than man. The power of our fathers raised up Yahweh Shah, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree. Whom have Yahweh exalted with his right hand to be prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins. Right, so Israel is entitled to the sacrifice of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, right? Yahweh sending Yahweh Shah down to die for Israel's sins. We're here is according to that promise, right? Let's get another precept on that, because it says, if you're Abraham's seed, you are heirs according to the promise. Let's go to Genesis. Right, it says, and Yahweh says, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him, right? And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at the set time in the next year. Right? So the covenant was given to the seed of Isaac, right? Isaac had Esau and Jacob, and the promises and the covenant, everlasting covenant, went to Jacob and his descendants. Let's get some more precepts. Let's go to Exodus 32, verse 13. It says, remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, thy servants, to whom thou swearest by thy own self, and saidest unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and all this land that I have spoken will I give unto your seed, and they shall inherit it forever, right? So the promises was given to Israel. Let's get some more. Let's go to Romans 9 and 3. We gonna probably end it right there, because that's enough. Romans 9 and 3. It says, for I could wish that myself were cursed from Hamashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, and the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of Yahweh, and the promises, and whose are the fathers, of whom concerning the flesh Hamashiach came, letting you know the promises was only given to the Israelites. So when you read in Galatians chapter 3, verse 28, it says, there is neither Jew nor Greek. It's talking about the Hellenistized. So like, I don't even think that's a word, but the Hellenistic Greeks, speaking Jews, right? It says, there's neither bond nor free, there's neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Hamashiach Yahushua. And if you be Hamashiachs, then you are Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise, right? And we just proved with multiple precepts that the promises was given to the children of Israel, right? So Lord willing, this was edifying, right? All praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, right? Shalom.